welcome back everyone. Here we are after almost 2 weeks of building. My clock tower or clock room or whatever that's supposed to be, I think turned out pretty nice. It feels pretty solid in the hand now. All the joints have gone together and they're, like I say, they're flush enough for me. It's going to end up fitting in down here somehow. I'm not sure how deeper it's going to be set. I don't know. I'm assuming next to that rail there. I think this will be probably something along those lines. But really pleased with how this one's coming together. I think it's going to end up, you know, I keep saying, I do think it's going to end up being a really nice display piece once it's all said and done. I'm really enjoying how these are working together now. But we're not going to see any more of this tonight, but if you're new here, this is what I do. I buy these kits and build them step by step, mostly in real time. You get to see all my successes and all my failures and how I hopefully fix those inevitable failures that come up. Upload daily and just try and have a good time. We're not solving the world's problems, just building silly little models, having a bit of fun. If you see any kits or builds or sets you want to take a shot at, feel free to drop in the comments. I'm always looking to add on to my list. And I've got the most intelligent audience on YouTube, because y'all recommend nothing but the best of options for me. That being said, as you can see, we're going to make us a staircase today. A little sort of vestibule, back room, undercroft, I'm not sure. But something, a room under the stairs. I'm on the wrong page. Flip that over. Okay. So, what do we need? This one. And we can set all these other pieces aside. Oh yeah, I've also got some of the floor is going to go in today too. Get a piece of. So, move these out of the way. We're starting off this one and this one eventually. So, let's bring it on in. And much to my dismay, the steps go on like that. They go on the inside rather than sitting on top of the stairs, because that would be too easy. So I think if I bring my square in here, I think I can make this lean in like that. And I did paint one side of these, and so you get something more solid underneath there. I need something. I got something behind me here. Hang on, if I can reach. Okay, another one of my old acrylic sheets that I never used. So it's reasonably flat and stable. So if I put you on there. I'm not sure. Maybe do it this way and get a little better seat. Maybe I should start down here. So yeah, that. The problem with this is it's hard to tell. It's the cut isn't perfectly 90 degrees, so there's a little bit of wobble there. So. You know, I think it's going to have to be one of those close enough is good enough, which is standard for me anyway, so I don't know, may not even worry about, it's hard to get a good angle where I can see. I guess I could freehand it and sort of aim for that corner, and you'll see the end result eventually. I do sort of wish I had something to keep it flush with the top here. And that's why I was thinking about something like this in there, just to make sure I'm even the top. But when I put that on there, I can't see that I'm even with the front. I don't have an inverse of that. I don't know what the would be an inverse of that. Okay. I'm just gonna go. I'm thinking. Okay, I've got my B7000 that I've transferred into my little dripper. It's not instantly sticky, but it gets sticky within a couple of minutes. This thing, I don't know if it's showing on camera, it's not exactly flat. Let's see what happens. Just a couple of drops. Let me get down in the tube. One little drop there. Get my painted side out. Swirl you around in there. I'm going to stand up straight enough and long enough to get a grip. Okay. That, I know you can't see it from over here at this angle, that doesn't look bad. And it's, like I say, tacky enough to stand up. This will add to my build time rather than using super glue, but it also gives me some adjustment so I can fine tune it. So I'm thinking this is going to be the way I'm going to go. If anybody's wondering why I transferred it to this little bottle, it's because I broke the nozzle on one of my tubes of B7000. So I just had to go all in on the little okay. Now that one's going to be more difficult. Okay. I don't know if I can get. Okay, that's pretty well lining up with the edge there, so I'm not sure about this, but I'm going to keep going because I don't have any better ideas. I was sort of dreading super glue. You lose so much adjustability when you do that. I think it might be really good for something like this, but it's also adds an extra level of difficulty, I think. Maybe I should put the glue on the piece rather than down there. Okay, that one. Okay, I'll try that this time. Pretty close on there as well. Okay, let's see what happens. I'll put it on the drop on. Okay, this one's sort of. They're going to be perfectly straight steps, but I think that has more to do with the cut. They're just little deviations there. This is this is what we're going to end up. Let's see. Go. See, they're pretty well lining up with that. I think this might be, if I can get it, sort of catch it in between, before it totally sets, but it does have a nice bit of tack on it. I think might be in business here. Didn't stick to me there. Okay, that one I missed. Pretty nice. That's how y'all just can't see, but you have to take my word for it. I didn't take some extra adjustment on there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I think it's going to be about the timing on putting the second piece on as to how good this really works. 'Cause it's going to have to be, yeah, a little bit flexible, but also not going to fall off on me as I make the final adjustments on it. If anybody's wondering, no, I do not have any idea what that timing is going to be. Okay, that one's way off. Let's see, yeah, there you go. You can sort of see those pretty well lined up. getting worse as I go along. Okay. As you can also sort of see they're wobbly here. Sort of. It was pretty good, and I decided to mess with it. Yeah, I wasn't, so when I saw this, I was worried about it. I guess I initially thought it was going to be, like I say, sitting on top of the frame over there, so I wasn't too worried about it. Then I looked a little closer and I said, ooh, extra challenge. Okay. Got pretty close on that one too, but still going to be a little greedy, trying to make it. These up here are already a little sticky, so I think I'm okay. 3 to 5 minute time frame, that seems to be okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go down my steps, try and do another little dot on each one. Get the air bubble out of the way there. Small piece like this, it won't take much to bind it. Maybe I can get them lined up with both sides of the frame here. Okay. Cap off my glue. Oh, and full disclosure, I did have to run a needle through that nozzle before I started tonight to make sure to let that glue flow, but that was a minor thing. Okay, so now these guys here. Okay, sort of, I don't know. Well, you see that one's not very good shape. So let me tap there. This one's out. Okay, I moved it when I. Okay, this is. Angling this stuff. Okay, how's that look on? It may not show on camera, but it's pretty wonky here. Definitely see the ones that aren't lining up where I want them to be. I just moved everything. Actually, please. Nope, that's not enough. Let's see. Clamp on both ends and maybe see if I can then start fine-tuning the position of the steps. Okay, that's not. Like I said, it's going to have to be one of those things where I'm going to have to decide I get to the point where I can live with it. Sort of like it to be good. And they're all pretty close. Let's see this one. So, let's see, those are pretty heavy. I don't think I can get more. Yeah, that might open that wide to get a little more pressure on the central part here. Okay, that will fit on there. Let me see a little less tension, less stress with the weight of that. Yeah, there. You can sort of see in there, they're all pretty close to this one's not down here. I think I just moved it around when I picked it up. Let's swap in one of those smaller clamps too here. I think the weight of those big clamps sort of adjusted things for me. That side stayed pretty good. Okay, so let those sit over there for a few minutes, and let's see if there's something else I can. Yeah, and I can go work on. Oh, actually, I'm supposed to put the cap on. That's it. Okay, it does fit. No, these are not. Doesn't look level. Yeah, it's definitely not level here. This is supposed to be even that. Okay, take you off. Okay, so I may have to use this to pull that into shape, because that way you can tell it's definitely off. Okay, hopefully that's been enough. Okay, so. Okay, that's what we can do. Just do. Yeah, that way we know it's level. And all the steps seem to be stable enough to handle that. They're not, like I said, we're in that sweet spot where the glue's flexible but it's sticky. So I am And I'm going to break out the old Gorilla Super Glue with a brush for this bit. It's going to go across the top so I can, like I say, use this to pull my steps square, hopefully. Oh, nice. Smooth even coat on both sides, I hope. And on the edge. And I'm going to hold this a good 12 seconds anyway. Okay. And now all my steps are crooked. And this is definitely crooked on the bottom. That's okay. Yeah, I think okay. Yeah, it's just destined to be crooked one side or the other, because now this side's, I pulled it in and it's this now, you can sort of see, yeah, that gap there is, so if this side's even, that side's odd, and if this side's even, that side's odd, so I think, and these are, you're going to be staring, these are facing front on the steps, so there's no, I don't think that's my fault. Because everything's, I said, within tolerance. Okay, I think that's just going to have to be one of those things we live with. Oh, well, I see something I did wrong. No, yeah, yep, I started on the wrong side. I've got to undo this. That's supposed to be over. Oh, I've got the sides swapped. Okay. I'm not going to make y'all watch another 23 minutes of that. I'll do that off camera and I'll come back. Because it's going to be the same procedure. I just got to undo this to redo that. Maybe I'll show you and I'll do it in high speed. So, here we go. Okay, since I had my technique down, that one didn't take as long, but it's also not quite as pretty. And I'm also still not even on the ground. That's flat. Let's see where my... So I'm flat on the ground. I'm still crooked up top here. But I am gonna give that one a few more minutes to set and do, and because I buzzed through that. I got a little greedy with it, so it made it a little more sloppy, I think. But still, I think it'll end up being okay. So while that's drying, or getting a little drier, we're supposed to do something I'm not real clear on, but we'll do it anyway. So take these guys and we're cutting them out. Making sure we break that first couple layers of veneer anyway. So when we do break them out, they don't shred everything. And that one went all the way through. Take those out of there. Clean up the edges a little bit here. I'll see the edges in here. I don't think these are going to show, but I'll still. Okay, and then we got stickers. And we're supposed to put these on, then put them back in position. So, okay, these aren't even stickers there. They're gonna make me cut that out. They'll perforate everything, but they don't. And them to be stickers. Obviously. Okay, let's get. Don't have okay, actually get the other rough shape of this one out. We'll figure up on that. Hinges done here. Smarter to leave some of that on to grab onto. Okay. And these guys go on here. The instructions say stick the small doors in the original position of A15, which is, these are back where we got them from basically, which if we're going to, that's what it says in the instruction, but the picture shows it sort of being out. Because we're going to stick them back in the original position, we could have just left them attached. It shows them sort of being offset and out, so I'm going to grab the marker I saw just a minute ago. Do my Sharpie. Do edges, this edge, the bottom. And both of them, because I'm going to go by the picture rather than what the instructions said. Okay. And likewise, this edge. Actually, I better go all the way around the top of this one because it does show. So we're going to be leaving these proud of the actual door, or actual frame, or whatever that is down there. Okay, so let's see. What I'm going to do is put these on last. So set them aside where I can grab them. These guys are going to go slightly over the edge here. So they're going to be I want them both nicely a little proud. Now do I have, let me find this piece. Okay, so this is, yeah, this is the piece that came off of, so let me grab, breaking off a couple of, smaller than that, too small to break, leverage here. Okay, so I have that down in there. I've got something flush for it to sit on. And actually, as I'm saying that, just had another idea. Let me clean up this edge. And this edge. Put that down in there. I can bring this on over a little bit further. It's got something to sit on, and it actually got a little more surface area there. Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. Just clean off the edges a little bit. Marker, so that's on the edge I'll need. A little bit rougher. Okay. Hopefully this won't be too obvious. Okay. They've got it like sitting on top of it. It looks like they had like a second one to put on top of those original ones. So that's sort of, I think they cheated. Or their graphic designer cheated. Or somebody did some finagling here. Okay, let me just the super glue. As long as I get it fairly well centered on there, I think. Okay. Actually, that's what I'll do. Super glue right there in the middle. And maybe like that. Okay, so now I can glue that piece on the back here, and like I said, that's about what the picture looks like. It's got that lifted up above the surface there. So yeah, so that's going to be my plan. Maybe trim this one down a little bit more on the back side. Same thing, situated where I want it. Have a little, yeah. Drop my super glue. Positioned. Okay, so that's going to be, yeah, I think that's going to give us the effect that I want. Yep, I think I'm going to work pleased with that. Find out for sure here in a second. Okay. Now, back to the super glue. Just hit. Actually, this only has. I hit those two. No, that's the wrong side. This side. Okay, drop you in there. Push it down and pushing that way. Okay, we're a little too low. I think it'll still get the desired effect. So, yeah. Okay, so this one and that one. Alright, nice. That's very similar to what their picture shows. So that's I think I'm pleased with how that worked out. Okay, so put the paper on. Now a few dots of B7000 so I can put my covers on here. Each one, I think. Should be ample. Okay. I think I'll have to put a little dabs of glue on the back to put the hinges down. Okay. But now, let's get back over to these, because that should be ready to go. Okay, so that's pushing down both of them flush with the floor. I think it's still very obviously not level. I don't like that. I'm pretty sure they just made this piece too thick, because I don't know if I can get it. Yeah, you can see it. Maybe. Okay, maybe it's supposed to go on like that. Maybe that is, but this that shows this flush with this edge. Where's that? Yeah, it's always, they're all it's flush all the way around in the instructions. So that's that's just so drastic. And that's a big. That's a very obvious out of whack one. And they're out of whack enough as is from me building the thing so quickly. I'm very tempted to shave this edge off just so I can keep it. But I think that's even then it's not straight. Yeah, that looks about straight. Still proud. Because if I do this, if I pull those up, this bottom part's not level. Yeah, this is gonna bug me. It's supposed to. Hang on. No, I was about to say I think I figured it out, but this part was supposed to be lower. But I don't. No, because this. Okay. Skipping ahead. This is supposed to go on the outside edge here or something. Yeah, because it's still going to be even on that end. That's still upside down. Yeah. Let me see here. Okay, the first step is mounting this guy, of building this back part. I'm getting out of order, and I think I'm about to call it a night from frustration. Okay, I'm going. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm gonna do it. I am gonna do. I think I'm gonna do something with that in a second. But first things, let's put this guy. This goes on. Okay, the hinges aren't even gonna show on this one, so I'm just gonna trim them. I don't think there's room for the other one. Yeah. Okay, so that goes on there. Okay, that one seems to fit pretty good. Let's go. Up and slight bead there. There. Maybe 2 across the top. good. Not a huge amount of surface area back on this bottom level. That's pop those on there. It's a little pressured. Set that glue up. Here. Okay. So gotta add one more little piece right here on that, but we can do that in a second. Gonna set you aside, let that glue go, and now I'm gonna move over to this one. And I think I'm gonna need a bigger clamp here. Probably better anyway, because it's going to apply more pressure to the edge. I think I can get enough. That, yeah, it's just barely thick enough. Okay. But like I said, I'm in a B7000 mood tonight, so let's stick with it. Next, flush with the back corner. Okay, I think, yeah, it's still too much. Got you up a little bit, get you more centered. Okay, so nice square and almost flush with the bottom here. Quick adjusting. Flush. Flush. Okay. So with that in place, let's see how. Yeah, it's still definitely. Yeah, I'm like 95% sure that's not my fault this time. Okay, let's add our top landing strip here, landing piece. I just messed up my floor. Got that one a little proud on there too. Alright. Okay, good. We're still flow back. I think I was on there long enough for it to sort of set up. Okay. It didn't appear to be going anywhere, so I think it's good enough to hold it in place for a minute. I'm going to give that, like I said, give that a minute to, and this side should be good to go. Making yet another long video. Now you This goes flush with the bottom of this. And again, better do some clamping. It's a little wonky on the little bendy on our good, nice inside and out. Okay. And actually, yeah, just okay. That didn't work. It did fall over on me. Tried to pick it up too soon, I think. Just saw that bottom step is way off. Let's do something about it, hopefully still. Okay, sort of back in shape. So you can, from that angle, I'm looking at my display so I can see what y'all see, and you can see the gaps are not perfect on this. But it's not that bad. I've done much worse staircases. And I'm still confused as why we're not putting them on top of the risers. That would have been a much easier build. But they didn't ask me, as usual. Okay. Now, I think this guy, I think I can pull this one and this one. This guy's supposed to go here along the back edge and this is supposed to be square, and this runs against the back edge, so maybe that'll help us draw that in line. I think I'm going to go for this one. I'm going to do the hybrid thing I did last night, where it's a part B7000 and part super glue, so I can get a nice instant bond and hopefully keep it straight. See, it's like that, so that's on this corner anyway, for sure. That much B7000. A couple of strips of super glue on the top and bottom. Here. Here. And I should have done do some more, a couple more B7000 on the connecting point on the bottom there. Okay. Hope not everything dried while I was fiddling around with that. Start to need. Okay. I think I'm good there. Up here. Oop, let me grab a that side together. Fairly flush along the bottom. Yep. Corner. Let's say fairly straight. A little crooked on my landing there. There's my steps looking. I think Okay, somehow they're gonna... Now they're looking... doing all that. Okay, maybe I was looking at it wasn't square. But it does look fairly flat now. And once I get this side gonna be glued down, I think it might actually draw it in. Alright. Maybe I was worrying about nothing. But gone on plenty long enough. One major mistake, a couple little issues, but not. I'm still feeling good about it. Still feeling good. You know, gotta maintain a positive attitude. I did get this is where I was wanting to get to tonight, and I think it's a good stopping point. I just realized that those things are going to be visible from the front. For some reason, okay. Cross that bridge when we get there. I'll do something to obscure my little spacers back there. But I'm gonna stop now. Just because if I don't, I'll keep going. Which is how stopping works. Okay. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like, subscribe, comment, complain, share. Do whatever you want to with all that. Be good to one another. Stay safe. And click on the link. There's my channel over there if you'd like to subscribe. There's my other channel where I do experiments a couple times a month. That is what YouTube thinks you should be watching. And over there is the playlist for the whole build. I'll see you tomorrow.